distinguished speakers, guests, EURAS members, colleagues, and friends. Welcome to EURAS regional webinar in higher education in Asia. As EURAS, Eurasian Universities Union, we are pleased to launch EURAS regional webinar series in this fall term. So this is Pınar Elbasan, General Coordinator of EURAS and Eurasia Higher Education Summit. I would like to welcome you all on behalf of EURAS and EURIS Summit. EURAS, this academic year, in collaboration with several partners and members, we are pleased to offer a series of free webinars on the future of higher education and international education. Our online event calendar is already uploaded on EURAS website, so I do appreciate if you take a look at our website to see our upcoming events. During this webinar, we will explore the new trends in higher education in Asia, the impact of COVID-19 in higher education institutions' plannings. Our distinguished speakers will give information about how the pandemic has affected their institutions, how their higher education systems were affected, as well as their inbound and outbound mobility of students in their universities, as well as in their region countries, the impact of COVID-19 on academic partnerships, exchange programs, as well as in the overall internationalization strategy, as well as I think some of our colleagues will be sharing also digitalization best practices. And we would like to also hear innovative solutions from Asian higher education system. Please be reminded that the webinar recording will be shared after editing on EURAS YouTube account, as well as we will be sharing with all participants. And we will be also sending e-certificate of participation to all those who attend fully into this webinar. So please, if your name is not visible on your Zoom accounts, please do change your usernames. And if time and the flow of this webinar permits us, I will try to ask your questions to our distinguished speakers. So please do ask your questions through Q&A or chat boxes on the bottom of your screens. And if our president's agenda also allows, he will also join us, maybe at the beginning or after, maybe as closing remarks, he will be joining us because he is also attending in other meeting now with Turkish universities. So most probably he will be joining us at the last round of this webinar. So before giving the microphone to our distinguished speakers, let me introduce them firstly. Professor Dr. Ching-Pu Chen.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, welcome. Received his bachelor degree in science from Virginia Military Institute and received his master's and doctoral degrees from Harvard University in the States. Currently, Dr. Ching-Pu Chen is serving as Director of Global Affairs Office at Yuan University in Taiwan and Director of Grape King Bio Corporation. At the same time, Dr. Ching-Pu Chen is a professor at Yuan University within the Department of Social and Policy Sciences. Professor Dr. Haniza Sarmin.
Hi.
Hi, Professor Sarmin is a professor in the Department of Mathematical Sciences, Faculty of Science, University of Teknologi Malaysia, UTM, in Malaysia. She joined UTM as a lecturer in May 1991. Professor Haniza received her bachelor, master, and PhD in mathematics in Binghamton University in the States. She has served as the head of postgraduate department in Faculty of Science, Deputy Dean in the School of Graduate Studies, the Director of Global Education and Student Experience, and later the Associate Director of Student Service and Global Education Experience till August 2019. She is currently Associate Director of Global Strategy and Engagement Department of UTM since August 2019. Professor Haniza has a vast experience in internationalization area. For her recent portfolio, Professor Haniza managed international relations, which includes visits staff mobility and agreements, international alliances, and strategic planning for the ranking exercise. And lastly, our third distinguished speaker from Bangladesh, Mr. Syed Raihan-Ul-Islam.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. Is currently working as the Assistant Director of International Affairs at Daffodil International University in Bangladesh. He has been coordinating international mobility for teachers, students, and staff with global partners, scholarships, Erasmus Plus projects, international internship at DIU. He also supervises international cooperation relations, communications on behalf of DIU, as well as setting up summer and winter programs arrangement for international students. So I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to both our speakers for accepting our invitation and joining us today at our webinar.
Good evening, everybody. Well, it's 8 o'clock p.m. in my time, and it's a great pleasure for me to share with you how the COVID-19 has impacted the higher education in Asia, particularly in Taiwan. Well, I guess as you all know that it has a great impact in almost every facet in our society. It has forced 1.6 billion students out of school, and in the next 10 years, it will push 135 million people into poverty, which certainly is also going to impact our higher education for sure. And even my alma mater, Harvard University, has told his students don't come back to campus after spring break, which is in March, and they have moved everything online. Even today, they still all the classes are conducted online. So this is has a huge impact in higher education. And if you look at the UN statistic back in May 20, there's almost 1 billion learners was affected by the COVID-19, and 135 countries wide they have closed their school. And nowadays it's much better. Only 33 country wide closure of the school, and about 500 million students are affected. Even though it still has a great impact to the world and to all the learners. And in Taiwan, we have 152 universities and colleges, and the number of university and college closed due to COVID-19 is 0. We have no university or college closed due to the COVID-19. And how did we do that? I guess that so I will introduce our prevention and control measure taking place in Taiwan. First of all, I guess that Taiwan, we have learned a great deal from the SARS back in 2003. So this time, when we learned about the suspicious disease in Wuhan, China, we start response immediately. Back in January 20th, we opened a central epidemic control center, level 3, and it was raised to level 1 by February 27 to deal with this pandemic. And the government has issued a legislature to deal with the disease. So we respond very quickly. And specifically, we have those measures are taken. First of all, we have a very tight surveillance and also the laboratory diagnosis of the disease to detect whoever is contract with COVID-19. And because Taiwan is an island, so we immediately had initiate border control. Whoever enter Taiwan, if they show a symptom of, then they have to get tested and right away. And also that we try to control the community transmission, which we have a very close monitor of all the people, and we try to avoid a huge gathering. And in the meantime, I think all our hospitals and medical system has prepared and ready to accept those students And as to today, I think Taiwan, we only have about 530 confirmed cases in Taiwan, and most of them are imported from overseas. And in the meantime, I think that we also stockpile an allocation of personal protection equipment to all the people. And it's specifically, for example, we have almost 10 times increased production of masks, almost 10 times within 2 months, such that almost nowadays we have everybody can access to a mask to protect themselves and protect others. In addition, I think education is very important, and that's why the government has always on radio, on TV, almost every half an hour, they will try to give a message to the people how they can deal with the COVID-19, what kind of personal behavior they should observe. So this is also a very good educational system to the people. And nowadays, I think it's the life in Taiwan is almost back to normal. Other than a lot of people wear masks, other than that, it's very much back to normal. And how about higher education in Taiwan? I guess as you can see that Taiwan it's right outside China, and we are a very safe environment, also with a high living standard. And many universities offer classes in English, so it's very easy for people speak English to live and learn in Taiwan. And our quality of higher education is also very high. For example, as I mentioned, we have 38 universities are listed in the Times Higher Education World University Ranking, and 18 of them are among the top 1,000 universities in the world. So we have a very high quality education in Taiwan, and certainly we have a very vibrant culture. And you come here, you can also enjoy the diverse culture in Taiwan. And certainly, we also have a very good working environment for people to work here. And for the university, I guess the higher education, the Ministry of Education has asked all higher education to develop contingency plan in response to COVID-19, which means monitoring, disinfecting, ventilation, and also a lot of reaction in terms of classroom and teaching. And specifically, Yuan University, we are the first bilingual university in Taiwan, and certainly we respond to this COVID-19. For example, we, as you can see from here, you enter the university, we set up the tent to measure people's temperature remotely, and also everybody wear masks as the students enter the campus, such that it's our line of protection to all the students and faculty and staff. And because many students cannot come back to Taiwan to class, so especially the students from mainland China, so for them we have online learning for them to do when they are at home. And those are the classes. We have over 500 classes as online access for those people who cannot come back to Taiwan to continue their education. And this is just some example that our professor chat with students, and also some doing the online internship. And I guess the future perspective for the higher education, I guess that certainly I think the class will still operate virtual and physical way. I think the face-to-face interaction is still important. And however, I think using the technology to conduct learning virtually is also become a fact of life. And so in the future, I think that this kind of hybrid form will become a norm. And distance learning certification, I think, will become more popular in the future. I think that And also, I think the rise of hybrid dual degree program, I guess that we would like to explore the possibility of working with other university abroad, such that we can pool together our resource and teaching, such that we can join teaching or join a dual degree with a combination of online learning and also physical learning. And certainly, I guess that we will try to explore the technology, how can drive the change, especially I think the faculty have to learn the new technology and also must master how you can use this technology to enhance students' learning in their field. And in addition, I think that the industry university research innovation ecosystem, as the Yuan was part of the Firestone Group, which is a big conglomerate of over 250 companies across 10 industries. We are also exploring how can we enhance this kind of industry university collaboration in terms of internship, etc. And also, I think that as we see it at the beginning, that the impact not just in higher education, but in all phases of life. So I guess we, for example, nowadays, many people, my daughter, she has been working from home since the beginning of this year. So this has become a new way of life, and we have to know how the new generation is going to deal with this way of life. So I just want to share with you some of the conditions here in Taiwan, and we will discuss and open for question later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chen. We already received some questions, but we will keep them at the end of the webinar once all our speakers finish their presentations, once the Q&A session starts. So we will have the questions in the second round. Professor Sarmin, it's your turn. I would like to leave the microphone to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me share the screen first. Thank you very much, Pinar and EURAS, for inviting me. I'm very honored to be here and to seeing everyone. So my topic is tackling the paradigm shift in higher learning, the Universiti Teknologi Malaysia experience. So I'll be sharing more to what we're having now in UTM, which is actually also true in Malaysia. Welcome everyone. I can see my friend Dr. Zainab, Dr. Judith. We were in Istanbul last time. We escaped and got to be in Istanbul in February. So let me share a little bit about COVID-19 in Malaysia. Our very first case came to Malaysia on 25th of January in 2020, which is an imported case. And right now, as of 17th of October, a few days ago, we have this almost 20,000 confirmed cases, but we do have more than half already, 12,000 recovered. And unfortunately, we do have death also because of COVID. And we are now in the third round of increasing cases in Malaysia, but it has been ups and downs, and we are hoping to be much, much better. So to share about preventive measures in Malaysia for the phases. So the very first phase of the Movement Control Order, or we call it MCO, starting on 18th of March 2020. Right before the MCO, I was actually joined the Erasmus teaching in Metu in Ankara until the 16th of March. And then my very last day in Metu, the whole of Ankara, or I think probably in Turkey, they shut down also starting on the 18th. So when I came back, I thought I was the one who has to stay at home for 14 days, but turned out that everyone in Malaysia has to stay at home for 14 days. And then after 2 weeks, then we have the second phase, and then the third phase, and the fourth phase of everyone has to stay at home and to work from home. All schools are closed until we actually opened, and UTM starting to have the full-time online learning starting on the 1st April of 2020. So you can imagine, I have started my class that time before I left for Ankara for 3 to 4 weeks physically. And suddenly when I come back, I have to stay at home, and then we starting the class in 2 weeks online. So this, until right now, we are still in the recovery movement control order, the RMCO. We can work except for the people in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor in, we call it the Klang Valley. They have to stay at home for these few weeks because of the very high cases of positive COVID. But in Johor, where we are right now, we still have to can go to office, and we have started the classes online. I don't know why I cannot move to the next slide. Yeah, okay. Before I move on, let me just share a little bit about UTM facts and figures. So we have over 20,000 students for the campus. We have campus in Johor Bahru and also in Kuala Lumpur. We have 1,400 academic staff and 7 faculties, engineering, social science, science, and so on and so forth. Among all those 23,000, we have 14,000 undergraduate students and almost 9,000 postgraduate students. We also have international students, 4,000 of them. And Pina mentioned about the mobility. So every year we have around 1,000 mobility inbound and outbound. And the number actually have increased the past year to more than 2,000. So suddenly there is no movement. What we do, so for the UTM online learning implementation, UTM decided to start the online on the 1st of April until 31st of December of this year. And we have some alternatives for the lecturers. They can do asynchronous online learning where they can record the video. We have synchronous online learning where we have live session and two-way interaction, or live session with one-way interaction. And also we have task-based online learning where we call it alternative 3. And for the online learning, imagine that we have not started fully online before the MCO. We have physical, probably just some online, but in 2 weeks, UTM have been able, from 1st of April to 25th of April, which is 3 weeks, to do a guideline for all the lecturers, more than thousands of them. We have online training. We have 2,000 lecturers attended online training. Some of them attended more than twice. And we have video tutorials. Everything goes online. And we also have online learning session with session given by every of the faculty. So this has been going on. Let me share a little bit about my class. Okay, the one on top is the class that I had just before I left for Ankara. So I was teaching undergraduate physically, and suddenly when I came back, then there is this MCO, and in 2 weeks, most of the students have gone back to their hometown. UTM sent them by buses, the whole of the university in Malaysia, sending the students back, buses and so on, or some of them left on campus. So we have to change to the new norm in which I do my class online via FB Live. And the one that you see at the bottom is my class. Just starting, this is our 2nd week, and I'm teaching master's classes. So we do it through Zoom and also interactive sessions, and I get to write on the whiteboard. So what do we do as assistants to the student? We have 50% students who are B40, which is bottom 40, where the income of the family is around 1,200 USD a month. So we give them data assistance, internet data, and we give laptop assistance also to 40 of the students in the bottom. And we have to move on, and we have to move forward to global connection. We cannot lose our partners. So we started to do virtual international engagement. We call it VIE. So far, starting from April, May, we had the virtual international engagement for with 17 countries and 25 universities. And you can see some impacts. We renew our MOU. We have new member for our network. And the one in the middle, we used to have University President's Forum every year for the past, and this is the 10th year that we plan to do it in November. We couldn't do it, so we do it virtually. So we have 3 series by our member of Asia Teknologi Network. And we also have webinars like everyone else, like what we do right now. Pina mentioned about what we do, mobility with the students, and also with the staff. So we started to do the inbound and outbound online global classroom. We call it OGC. We start the first one with our Asia Technology Network. We do Global Culture Corner, where we have students, 5 students from 6 universities from 4 countries. They get together, they change the culture for 2 afternoons. And the next one, we have also OGC for by the other member of the ATUNet. We also have down at the bottom, OGC by different faculties in UTM. So we encourage every faculty to have their OGC. And also we sending students abroad by our partners. So doing the online global classroom. Okay, before that, I just need to mention also about what we have right now is, although we do it all the classes online, and I have to make sure, because the challenges that we have for our class is that they are not all in Malaysia, and we have more than 1,000 new international students, and you can imagine they come from everywhere, and it's about the timing. You imagine we put our, like right now, we are almost at 9 o'clock, right? And you imagine if we have our class at 8 a.m., what happened to the students who's like 6 hours earlier than us? They have to like 2 a.m. there. So that is the challenge that we have right now. And the lecturers, the time, their working time, office hours is like until 5. And I'm sure they don't want to work at night and teach the class. Thank you very much again, Pinar, for this opportunity. So I pass back the mic to you.
Thank you so much, Professor Sarmin, for informative presentation, as well as your best practices during the COVID-19 process. Let's continue with Mr. Syed's presentation. The microphone is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pinar, for your remarks and inviting all of us for today's webinar. And I would like to thank to EURAS as well for hosting this very informative, very nice presentation session for the member universities as well as for the audiences. So I would like to share my screen. Is it visible?
Okay. Yes, Syed.
So the topic of my today's webinar is digital bridge practices and transformation for sustainability. So I will actually talk about the story of Daffodil International University, how actually we practice the digital activities, and as well as how actually we transform all these new initiatives to cope up with this COVID-19. So first of all, I would like to introduce our university. So this is Daffodil International University. It's one of the top ranked private university in Bangladesh. We established in 2002. So as you see that we are a very new university, not a very old one. And within this short period of time, we have a good number of students. We have around 23,000 students in our university. And among them, we have more than 500 international students. Mostly from Asian and African countries. So they're studying in the Daffodil International University in different undergraduate and master's programs. And in the university, we have around 100 to 1,200 teachers and administrative staffs to run the university. And we have globally around 385 international partners. With them, we are globally connected for the different kind of exchange programs under the partnership agreement. So what actually DIU's digital ground that I would actually like to focus on from my presentation. So since 2008, as Daffodil International University is part of a big company, it's called Daffodil Family. So we have actually different ventures. So university is one of them. So we started a new project called One Student, One Laptop. And under this project, since 2010, we have distributed around 40,000 laptop to all our students, those who have admitted since 2010. So why actually we have done this? To make our students competent for this digital era, so that they can be connected, they can be focused on education from anywhere in the country or even outside of the country. So one of the goal of this project was to make them competent, make them fit for this world. So as I mentioned in my previous slide that we are ICT focused base, you see that we have several companies. We have 42 concerns in Bangladesh, and most of them are education and ICT companies. So we have also two concerns. One is called GoEdu and another is called Skill Jobs. So through these two companies inside the Daffodil family, so they are also supporting the university for this digitalization from many years. Like GoEdu is one platform that is actually contributing different courses from the professors, from the academicians from different countries to contribute, so that our students can be connected through this GoEdu to learn different courses outside of their academic activities, as well as skill jobs that is actually supporting the students for the global job market, so that they can do interview, they can do join different job markets as well as through these skill jobs. So if I go a bit deeper into our digital best practices, you will see that from the very beginning, our university operations, I am not focusing on only the academic part. What I mean that the university should have those all kind of technology to be to facilitate the members of the university, so that the students can do any activities, any requisition, online application, and also requisition. You see that we have different profiles and email for all the students. So these are kind of a picture that what actually we are giving to the students digitally. Even they can pay with one card to any part of the university or any kind of payment solution through these practices. And as we are focusing the best practices digitally, we have set up campus TV back in 2012 in the university. Through this, the students actually learn and do practices. There are different cross-cultural activities. They do like exhibition through this campus TV and campus radio, as well as to make them more fit in social media, not only Facebook or Twitter or informal practices, but also more formal and more informative, knowledge based. So we made DIU blog and forum where actually students are also giving their input, as well as the academicians. And for the academic part, we have also set up the education ERP. So, and through this education ERP, our students, teachers, and everyone is having in one platform to set up their all the academic exams, the quizzes, and everything is tracking under this education ERP. And also end of the courses, end of the program, end of the semester, they can also give their feedbacks. They can give their markings for the teachers, as well as teachers, they can actually give the marking to the students. Also, we have a very enriched DIU e-library, which is, we also have very good collaboration with different countries, partner universities. And to control this, all this setup digitally, we have also the cybersecurity center, which is actually working for the security matter of this all digital setup. And also the cybersecurity center is also supporting the government for different cybersecurity activities of the country. And one of the pillar of DIU's strategical priority is actually digitalization. So the university is not only doing this as usual, but we also think that digitalization should be one of the pillars of the university that will run the university for the sustainability for the future that we are actually now facing. And also we have a very prompt and very a wide range of social media activities. Like our peer actually mostly focusing on social media. As you see that the university page is actually the highest number of followers in Facebook. We have 2.8 million followers in Facebook, who is actually directly connected with the social media. So all of a sudden we have experienced this COVID-19, and each and every institution, each and every country is now facing difficulty, as COVID-19 is actually now a threat for everyone. And what should we do in this situation? So the country Bangladesh, actually we go to the lockdown situation in March 25, and from that time all the educational institutions go for closure. Some of them go to close, and some of them actually running online. So the three threats that I'd like to mention for the academic part, that over 1.3 million HSC candidates, those who are going to sit for the higher secondary school certificate exams, they are unable to sit since the national board exam was off due to pandemic. And the other reason is like the high speed internet availability in rural area. So including the cost is also one matter. These two threats are actually quite wider in the education system in Bangladesh that we are facing. And lastly, that as we are talking about the universities, so the universities are actually facing difficulty to get the new students, since there is no exam for the HSC candidates, but the government is making a decision how to solve this problem very soon. So if I talk about the universities in Bangladesh, like the universities are divided into two, as other countries also the same, the public and private. So considering the situation, the public universities has actually less precaution because the government and the UGC, they had actually the instruction a bit late. So since June, they actually planned for the running of their online academic activities since June. But in terms of comparing to public and private universities, the private universities actually thought to wrap up their first semester, I mean the spring 2020, with limited exam. And they had less confidence how actually they will go for the virtual academic activities. Like one is actually the infrastructure as well as the mental setup, how actually they will, because most of them are not well trained yet. So as well as I mentioned in my previous slide, that there are poor admission flow due to the HSC exam. So they were also thinking that how they will be financially solvent in this situation. So these are quite things that happening for the universities in Bangladesh. So if I move forward to the university as the Daffodil International University, how we are actually coping up the situation. So considering this in mind, the country go to lockdown on 25th March. So we started some initiative just 1 week before the university go to online. So we started the Smart Edu, a new application for the university staff, university students, everyone to track in one platform, so that they can be tracked, they can submit, they can do the online activities fluently. We did a partnership with Coursera for the courses for our students and everyone to join, and so that they can use their time very promptly. And also we developed the Blended Learning Center, BLC, that I would like to focus, that BLC is the platform that is actually owned by us, that we developed by our software team, that is actually giving a wide range of activities for the academic staffs, so that they can track the students, they can give feedbacks, the students can do discussion in one platform. And we actually got a good response from the students and teachers, because many of the things that we are doing previously, but we just developed it in a new platform. So we get a good response from all the academic platform as well as the students' point of view. So since we had some good practices from the very beginning, and we transferred it to a new technological aspects, we have seen that considering other universities, our admission flow was not that much affected that we thought. But you see that in the spring semester, we had above 20 to 23,000 students. And since there are a sudden fall of COVID-19 made us a bit nervous for all the students and their parents for the financial aspect. So it came to around 19,000 students, but later on it also increased by this fall semester. And the newly admitted students is also increasing day by day due to our these good practices. We are hopeful that we can do it. And I give some chart here that the online payment, that digitally the students are also paying the online payment or all the fees here with our one card solution. And total number of courses we had before pandemic, the normal situation, we had around 600 courses in our platform. But once the pandemic started, we transferred all our courses that we are running through the departments and faculties. Everything is online. So we have around 700 courses now in BLC platform that is actually active for the students and teachers. So some point of view from the students that we are doing for the students right now from the university's point of view, like we give them low cost internet package. So we made agreement with the mobile company and service company. We are giving them low internet package that is also included within the tuition fee. We are not charging them anything extra. And we are also set up psychological support so that the students can book time, because due to this pandemic, many of them are facing psychological illness inside home or what they will do. So we are giving them psychological support online. We are giving them waiver installment support. Also, we set up online employability skill tests so that the students can, the graduates, they can test their skills and they can fit for the global market. And also we give them e-ticket service for any type of campus, on-campus services, so they can book and they can come and take their services through these e-ticket services. We made one platform for online discuss module, so that in one platform, all the academic, administrative and students can discuss for any kind of solution and they can tag the topic as well. We also give the staffs also have the online job reporting. So, suppose like if anyone is sick for some day, they can do any job from online, from home, and it can be tracked as well as from their supervisors. And also we invested a good number of our financial involvement in the IT resources. If we talk about the internationalization, as I am also working for the internationalization in the universities, what actually we did in this pandemic. So we sorted out our partnership, like which partners are mostly focusing on virtual mobility now. So we started interacting regular meetings with our partners, and we focus on virtual mobilities in this pandemic because there is no possibility to physical mobility, such as we are doing different e-talks, webinars, qual project with our different partners. So we made different meetings with our professors in the university and we connect them with different qual projects. And of course with EduNet and other partners also, we are doing online global classroom, OGC. We did some mega events that we used to do on campus every year. So we did the hackathon on campus. So this year we did it Coronathon on campus, virtually connecting our partners. Our summer program was hosted where actually EURAS was also partner of this summer program, and we got huge response. We did virtual farewell ceremony. I will come back to that again. So if I talk about this virtual mobility, how we actually did. So last year we had around 340 student mobility, physical mobility, for 2019. And in terms of virtual mobility this year, till now, we have already 307 student mobility virtually. So we are still not yet far behind. So we are trying to cope up and focusing on the virtual mobility. And every year we try to congratulate our international students when they complete their graduation on campus. But this year, due to pandemic, we couldn't make it. So many students, they left for their home country. So we connect them once again with our campus through this virtual farewell ceremony. I just added few pictures. So the students, they developed a robotic feature. So where actually we connected all the students on campus in the auditorium, so that we can give them something, a new congratulation for their completion of the degree. And lastly, I would like to mention that through this transformation, what are the impacts that we are facing, we are feeling in the university operation, that if we are focusing on the digitalization, of course, we all of us are facing now that sustainability of the university is a big question. So if we are focusing on digitalization, we can actually achieve it through this digital platform. It is also cost effective to some extent and also flexible in communication. We can actually manage the risk and time if we are fit in this digital era. with this digitalization. We can share the resources, like as I said that we also did e-library. So in this situation, we are sharing different e-library materials with our other partners, but that was not possible before pandemic because of many difficulties of physical mobility. Also, we get the confidence of the students that actually gave us confidence that student enrollment or also student engagement is now good, as we are fit for the digital activities. And also it gave us the impact of uninterrupted education. And also the officials of the university or the teachers, they can also feel confidence that they can run their activities in the university. And of course, this is also part of the internationalization. If you are fit, if you are virtually fit, you can run anytime, like now as well. And we are also achieving the SDGs one step ahead. And lastly, my last slide is actually we have to accept the new normal. And we don't know that when this COVID-19 will leave us fully. We don't know how much we need to fight with this COVID-19, but we have to accept it, and we have to fight with digital features, I think. So that is all from my presentation. Thank you everyone for joining, and I hope to hear more question, answer, and discussion.
Thank you so much, Mr. Syed, and thanks for sharing your digital best practices. I think the virtual farewell ceremony is my best, is my favorite. So thank you so much for your presentation. So the EURAS President, Associate Professor, Dr. Mustafa Aydın is with us right now, and he'll be able to give opening remarks. So I would like to give microphone to our President.
Öncelikle ben bütün katılımcı ve konuşmacı arkadaşlarımıza, değerli hocalarıma çok teşekkür ediyorum.
First of all, I would like to thank all the valuable participants and our speakers for joining us at our webinar today.
Ben buradan bütün arkadaşlarıma tekrar bu pandemi sürecinde yaptıkları çalışmalardan dolayı hem öğrencilerimize, üniversitelerimize hem kendi toplumuna katkılardan dolayı gerçekten çok teşekkür ediyorum.
I would like to thank everyone for their great efforts during this pandemic time, not only for their students, but for all overall academic climate. We appreciate everything that you've been doing so far.
Avrasya Üniversiteler Birliği'nin temel itibariyle kuruluş amacı Avrasya coğrafyasındaki üniversitelerimizin çok farklı konularda işbirliği yaparak hem toplumuna, hem toprağına, hem de dünyaya yeni açılımlar sağlamaktır.
The foundation of the establishment of the Eurasian Universities Union is to dabble on different kind of academic areas and to create different kind of collaborations and do better projects not only for ourselves but for our countries, for our own lands and for the higher education systems.
Bunu da yaparken önceliğimiz tecrübe paylaşımı, üniversitelerimizin yaptıkları iyi uygulamaları, güzel örnekleri paylaşarak havuzda daha olgun, daha faydalı bir ürünü çıkararak toplumun hizmetine sunmak.
The best way to do this is to share, to exchange our experiences and to have a rich pool of good practices that we can share one another and learn from one another.
Özellikle de COVID-19 bu pandemi sürecinde üniversitelerimizin tecrübe ve deneyimleri ayrı bir değer bizim için ifade ediyor.
Especially during this COVID-19 time, this good practices and exchange of experiences has become much more valuable for all of us.
Hepimiz dünyayı takip ediyoruz.
We are all following what's going on all around the world.
Çok yakın bir sürede bu pandeminin sona ereceği şeklinde bir belirti yok.
There's no sign that this pandemic is going to go away anytime soon.
Ülkeden ülkeye ufak değişiklikler olmakla beraber görünen o ki bu süreç önümüzdeki akademik yıla da sirayet edecektir. Akademik yılı da içine alacaktır.
Although it may differ a little bit from country to country, we can all agree that this pandemic is going to go on not only this academic year, but probably for the next academic year as well.
O zaman bu yıl arkadaşlarımızın uygulamış oldukları pandemiye karşı eğitim öğretim sistemini önümüzdeki dönem içinde daha geliştirerek hayata geçirmek zorunluluğumuz var.
So this means that we have to further develop our online education academic systems in order to further ahead and develop these systems for the next and the following academic years as well.
Karşılaştığımız ve karşılaşacağımız riskleri hep birlikte minimize etmek zorundayız.
We have to minimize all the problems that we're going to face and we will have in the future.
Bir gerçekle karşılaştık hep beraber.
We are facing a reality, all of us together.
Zaten var olan hayatımızdaki dijitalleşmenin artık hayatımızın her alanını istila ettiğini, her alanında olmazsa olmazı hale geldiğini gördük hep beraber.
The digitalization process that we had in our lives has now become a priority and must in every area that we are working on.
Yani bunu gıda sektöründen, tekstil sektöründen, imalat sektöründen, tarımdan, ziraatten, her alanda ama ille de eğitimde.
So this process is now at the retail sector, at the gastronomy sector, in our agriculture, in production, but especially in the education center.
Burada bizler eğitimciler olarak öğrencilerimizin bu süreçten en az etkilenmeleri için onlara canlı sınıf ortamları hazırlamak zorundayız.
As educators, we have to provide live classroom experiences for our students if we're going to succeed during this time.
Yoksa aç kitabını orada anlat. Bu bir online veya da hibrit eğitim değildir bu.
Otherwise, just open a book and follow the slides. This is not an online education system.
Öğrenciler kendilerini üniversitede hissetmek durumundalar.
The students has to feel that they are in a university.
Onun için sistemi zenginleştirmemiz gerekir.
We have to enrich the system.
Hem psikolojik olarak,
Psychologically,
hem pedagojik olarak,
pedagogically,
hem eğitim araç ve gereçleri ve yardımcı malzemeler olarak.
and of course the education supplements and other tools and etc.
Eğitimin içerisine grafikler, animasyonlar, şekiller, resimler olabildiğince o dersi hareketlendirecek araç ve gereçleri ve sistemi dahil etmek zorundayız.
We have to adapt some tools that will have like gamings and some graphics and some videos that will involve the students more in the class during this time.
Yani aksiyonel bir öğrenciyi hazırlamamız lazım karşımızda.
The student has to be active and in action during this online classes.
Sadece öğrenci değil, hocalarımızı da aksiyonel hale getirmemiz lazım.
Not only the students, but also the academicians has to be active and full of action during this time.
Bu noktada eğitimcinin eğitimi ayrı bir önem arz etmeye başladı.
At this point, training for trainee educators is much more important,
Özellikle teknolojik olarak,
especially in
olarak,
technological
hibrit
areas.
olarak,
In
online
hybrid,
eğitim nasıl verileceğini, nasıl yaparsak daha etkin bir eğitim olabileceği yönünde hocalarımızı da eğitmek zorundayız.
we have to train our professors on how to give a more effective online education and online classes.
Ve uygulayacağımız sistem yerelden uzaklaşıp globale yönük, bütün dünyaya dönük hale gelmesi lazım.
The processes that we use must be not only national or local, it has to be in the global sense.
Çünkü üniversitelerimiz artık birer dünya üniversitesi olarak bütün dünya insanlarına hitap etmektedirler.
Because our universities are now not only being local, but also training world universities and world educators.
Coğrafyamız bizden çok şeyler bekliyor.
Our geography is expecting a lot from us.
Öğrencilerimiz, ülkelerimiz her alanda ekonomik, sosyal, kültürel eğitim alanda bizden çok şeyleri bekliyor.
Our students, our politicians, and our societies are expecting a lot from us, from us educators.
Şunu asla unutmayalım.
Please never forget this.
Biz eğitimciler hem siyasetçilere hem ekonomistlere ve diğer sektörlere ışık veren kurumlarız.
We as educators provide the light for the politicians, for the economists, for the societies. We are the light for them.
Biz ne kadar ışık verirsek onlar o kadar rahat yürürler.
the more light we provide for them, the better path that they're going to have for the future.
Aksi takdirde karanlıkta kalırlar.
Otherwise, they will stay in the dark.
Ben bu düşüncelerle bütün katılımcı arkadaşlarıma çok teşekkür ediyorum.
With these remarks, I'd like to thank again everyone for participating at our webinar.
Koronasız günler diliyorum.
I wish everyone corona-free days.
Sağlığınıza çok dikkat ediniz.
Please take good care of your health.
Maske,
Mask,
mesafe
social distance,
ve temizlik
and hygiene, please.
asla bırakmayınız.
Never let it go.
Siz sağlıklı olursanız ailenize, öğrencilerinize ve toplumunuza faydalı olabilirsiniz.
You can only be beneficial to your students, to your family, and to your societies if you are healthy.
Sağlığınız yoksa hiçbir yere faydanız olmaz.
If we don't have our health, we have nothing we can do for anyone else.
Hepinize çok teşekkür ediyorum.
Thank you again for being here listening to me.
Sağlıklı ve başarılı bir akademik yıl diliyorum.
I wish everyone a healthy, successful new academic year.
Hayırlı günler diliyorum, başarılar diliyorum.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
We would like to also thank to our president for his opening remarks. And we will be continuing with the question and answer round actually. So we already received some questions, but I would like to start with my questions firstly. We also received some questions while we are having the registration. So let me start with them firstly. So, I mean, any speaker can just reply. It is expected that the number of international students will decrease, but as also Turkish University, we've seen that there's a huge also interest and increase on international student applications. So how about how your countries and universities are affected during this international student application registration process? What measures international offices should take in order to avoid the decline, the demand in the post-COVID era? So here is my first question to our distinguished speakers. So ladies first, positive, to Professor Sarmin, please.
Okay, Pinar. Yes, we had actually increasing number of international students since last year, and so many applications came in. They wanted to come, but then when it's COVID, the immigration stopped. So they couldn't come, and they decided not to join us because it's online. Some of them, they decided also to join, to register. They couldn't come in. So we opened for online. So when UTM started, we said that will be online until December. So you just register, join our class online, and when it becomes better, when the border is already open, then you can come in and join us. So giving the opportunity for them to join the class and keep on emailing and communication, we don't lose them. But I think everywhere else, some of them, the economic is affected. So some of them decided not to come. Probably it will be more than a couple of years, maybe, for things to go back as mentioned by your president. Yeah.
Okay, I think that for Yuan University, we also observe that the increase in application, but as just like Sarmin said, that it's some students have difficulty to get a visa, and once they arrive to Taiwan, they have to went through the 14-day quarantine before they can come back to campus. So we do see the number of students actually come has decreased, and however, we also offer them just like UTM that before until they finish the quarantine and actually come to a classroom, we offer them online option that they can continue their learning while they are either during the quarantine or at home until they can actually arrive on campus. So that hopefully as the pandemic ease, that we can see things back to normal. Thank you.
Thank you. So from our point of view, what have we done that we never faced that difficulty for the spring semester, because there was flight and the situation was that bad internationally for the traveling, but we started facing it problem for the summer semester following by this fall semester. So for the summer semester, we give them option. For summer semester, we give them the support through BLC. Like the students, those who are supposed to come and take the admission, we give them online admission support, and they started the classes through this BLC platform, staying from their home country. And for this fall semester, we give them the possibility of coming, because there are flights and they can come here. So we give them option, either you can continue it from your home country through this BLC platform, or you can come on campus. So we received almost like 70% students. They actually planned that they will be coming, and we already received many students on campus since last September. Yeah, that is our part.
Thank you, Syed, and thank to all distinguished speakers. Let me continue with my second question. As you know, the pandemic influenced also social activities inside the campuses. Student clubs activities, graduation ceremonies were cancelled or were moved to online platforms. So what kind of strategies did you develop or can we develop in order to maintain these social activities or create new ones? So let's start with Dr. Chen this time, firstly. Thank you.
Well, I think that last graduation, we do have, we divided the group into a smaller group for their ceremony. But as I mentioned that in Taiwan, the society activity is almost back to normal, just that people wear masks. And so that we still have a lot of activity going on for students, and in class, it's very much back to normal now. So I guess there's not too much difference in Taiwan.
Thank you, Dr. Chen. Dr. Sarmin?
In UTM or most of the universities in Malaysia, they are, when we finish the MCO and we go to recovery, we open the activities for limited number of students. And then right now, when the case is increasing again, we start to do it differently. We do activities online, clubs and activities, they're still going on, and they meet online. And we can also see some cultural exchange in which the students share their activities. They even can dance from different places with the same music. The only thing that they cannot share is probably the tasting of food. Cannot do it via online. But we try as much to do student activities, because they need this, not only going to classroom, they need to mix with each other. The one that stays on campus, they still can meet, but with social distancing, masks and everything, that is a must.
Thank you, Professor Haniza. So from our point of view, what actually we have done, like from the very beginning, our university is focusing on the student centered. So the students are the power of universities, all the activities. So on campus as well, we give them the power that, okay, you organize and we actually coordinate from the administrative part. So when the pandemic arrived, we actually, our student affairs and also other offices, they sit different meetings and we organize different programs, student clubs, and we connected the local centers, like different country centers. We Edward Martin Kennedy did different culture center. We connected them, as well as Dr. Piner attended one of our summer school program. I must say that the whole program was actually organized by the student clubs. So we connected 2-3 clubs and they together jointly organized the program, where our office actually just coordinate the matter, but the students. So this is the way we try to make the students more active, even if they are at home. because if they are active online, or if they are connected different activities, we hope that they will be fit psychologically, because otherwise they will be feel bored, they will start missing on campus activities. So we wanted to make them active. So this is what we did so far.
Thank you so much. Let me continue with the questions we received from our participants. So Pardeep from Rana University asked what necessary measures Taiwan government taken to reopen the 152 universities normal academic operation and to save the students' interest to keep them active in classrooms.
Okay, I guess this is for me.
Yes.
I think I replied to him that I guess the COVID-19 actually started and maybe become into more effective in February. So that was during our winter break. And I think in Taiwan, almost all universities postponed their opening of spring semester 1 or 2 weeks, such that the school can disinfect the campus. So for example, Yuan University, we postponed our spring semester to March 2nd, and actually that we have a safe campus for students to come back. And once they come back, I guess that all university, we have to take the temperature of all the students and faculty and staff when they enter campus, and while they're on campus, they have to wear the mask in class, etc. And also try to keep the social distance. And other than that, it's not much difference. As I mentioned that since the beginning till now in Taiwan, we only have 548 cases, confirmed cases in Taiwan, and most of them are imported, and they are detected when they enter through the airport, and they are put into a hospital or in quarantine right away. So we have a very safe community in Taiwan. So I think that this is one advantage we have to keep all the activities going. Thank you.
Thank you. My colleague from Istanbul ID University, Ayşe Deniz Özkan, asked about the short-term programs. I think that short-term programs are very important. What are you doing for short terms in the pandemic period? Are you developing online short programs? Are you happy with the outcome if you did that? Professor Sarmin, we can ask this question because Dr. Chen has already replied.
Okay. I mentioned a little bit about our online global classroom. So we have been starting to do it very actively because we have 7 faculties in UTM, and we have we call it KPI that they have to achieve within a year, how many students, how many activities that you have to do. So we encourage all the staff to join in and doing the short-term courses. Some of them, they are used to do the summer courses, now they do it via online, and they plan the program sort of, how can you do it online? How can you do and embed all the activities like quizzes, sharing, presentation, and so on. So, and starting from this semester, which has started 2 weeks ago, we also open our classroom to our partners. So we have some students from abroad joining us, and also our students also join classes from abroad. So when you mention about short term, if you, to us, short term can be 1 semester or also few weeks. So we've been doing it continuously and now very actively from all our faculty members. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sarmin. We also have received some questions, but they were already answered, so I'm not going to ask them again. But let me start with Syed. To asking this question came from Ed Peters. He's thanking you for the informative presentations. His question to all speakers is, from your recent experiences, what gives you the most hope for our young people?
Sorry, can you tell again the question?
From your recent experiences, what gives you the most hope for our young people?
Okay, so the thing is that from our point of view, that I mentioned in my last slide of the presentation, that the new normal, we have to accept it. So the students and everyone actually accept this new normal, and they need to fit and they need to accept these online new platforms, and they are actually accepting. You see that many of our students are applying for different online exchange programs virtually, that is actually offered by many of our partner universities. So we actually had the chance to connect them with different partner universities for this virtual program. So I think this is the point that the students and everyone need to focus on, and they need to accept it and they need to do practice. Yeah.
Dr. Chen?
I think that what excites me is that despite the epidemic, I think that there are many students that went through all the trouble and even risk to get a visa, get on airplane, and come to a foreign place, went through the 14-day quarantine, and they just demonstrate they're eager to learn, and their motivation is just amazing. I think this is a great hope we can observe from those young people, and I'm very honored to work with them in their part of their journey. Thank you.
So finally, Dr. Sarmin?
I think these young people has to adapt to the online courses. There are so many courses online that they can join easily, and most of them, they are all just free. They can go to conferences and join conferences from abroad before they even cannot afford to go to Europe or Turkey and so on. Right now, they got this opportunity with very minimum cost. So I think they should try very hard to adapt to this is what they have right now for probably a couple more years. So I think it's opportunity also for the young people to learn as much. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me continue with the question to Mr. Syed, coming from Dr. Naime. As you mentioned, you distributed 40,000 laptops to students. We would like to know if this project is funded by university, or is there any governmental support included in the same?
Okay, yeah, I got this question. So it is actually funded by the university. So it is actually all included inside the university service. So what we said that when the university, the students will be admitted, so they will get the laptop when they will be completing their third semester. That means the first year. So once every student, they complete their first semester, they get this free laptop. So it is actually included in the university service. We are not asking for any extra payment from the students, or even we are not getting any funding from the external organization or even the government. So this is actually one of the motto of the university, that we will feed the students for this global platform, will make them digitalized. So as a part of this motto or goal, we started this since 2010. So it is all by the university funding.
Thank you, Mr. Syed. So let me continue with the question from Fevziye Amura, a colleague from Jordan. Thank you so much for your question. Considering the internationalization at campus as a new strategy means to engage more academic staff members in the virtual activities. My question, how to encourage staff members to engage in the virtual mobility and activities, and how to develop the curriculum? Professor Sarmin, we can get the answer from you firstly. Thank you.
I mentioned a little bit about the KPI, Key Performance Index, that we ask every faculty to achieve. And we have seen that more and more academic staff, even from before we put one KPI for each faculty to have at least one summer course, to have at least mobility activity, summer school for each one. But right now, they involve more academic staff for this, because before, more academic staff, some of them reluctant to go abroad. with the family and so on. So right now they can do it from even their house or from the office. Regarding the curriculum for right now, we haven't really changed the academic curriculum, but just how to teach the class, how the assessment is made. So everything is, we do it online. We already have the system inline there. We call it e-learning, where every assessment is put it in there. So the curriculum is still there, just how you teach the class. And we leave it to the lecturers, how you will conduct your class. Like I mentioned last time, I do it through Facebook Live. Some of them, depending on whether the student can get good Wi-Fi or not, they can do it via WhatsApp even, or whatever it is that they can choose, as long as they can teach. And we don't want to lose any student. All students need to be able to learn online.
Dr. Chen, would you like to add something on this issue as well?
Well, I think that the most important is that for the faculty, instead to change their mindset, this is going to be the fact of life in the future. And so they have to embrace this change and try to become a second nature in their teaching. And in the meantime, I think the university also provide, we also have a faculty learning session every month. And so we also invite people with good experience in this virtual learning and to share their experience with the faculty. So we also have this ongoing faculty improvement program for faculty. So that's how we do it. Thank you.
Mr. Syed, I have another question for you. So I would like to ask this to you. Ibrahim Gambo asked, amid these trying times, ensuring learning continuity is the priority for education officials, in the absence of which the cost to students and the economy could be devastating. What kind of financial assistance, special assistance, or any packages that your university offer to students, considering the economic cripple around the world, to subsidize their hardship in order to have continuity in the students' education? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pina. That's a very good question. So first of all, I would like to tell that the university, like Daffodil International University, most of our students, I must say, like around 70 to 75% of the students, they actually come from the out of the city. I mean, they come from the village area or even the local areas, not only from the city. So many of them have, they don't have much very high profile of like financial capability. So considering this status, we always think of the students for the scholarship and waiver facilities. So in this pandemic, we also give them a very good number of pandemic waiver, we call it. So in summer semester, we give around 50 to 60% of the students of the whole university, we give them the scholarship. So it was from 20% even to 100%, we gave them mini scholarship. And also for the for the fall semester, for the newly admitted students, because there are financial difficulties for the students to take admission for the university, so we give them 50% scholarship until this pandemic. That means it can be for this semester, it can be next semester. So we actually announced this, that the students, those who will admit now, they will get 50% scholarship on tuition fee for this fall, even for the spring semester, until this pandemic will be over. So that is actually our initiative from the Daffodil International University.
Thank you so much. I think all students, not in Bangladesh, but in all around the world, facing many economic challenges. So it's always good for universities to create these kind of support or additional packages for local and international students. So what Julie Till asked, what are the challenges and opportunities around virtual internships for university students? So let me start with Professor Sarmin.
For internship, I haven't really frankly came across yet so far what the faculties send students. We have students during the, because The semester ended in February last time, February or March, and then we started again in October. And during those time, it's still the movement control order or the recovery. So we've not been sending students to do internship at the office. The one that we sent, we sent some, but with very restriction movement. So some of them, they went, they registered their internship, but then they have to do it from home. So depending on the industry, some of them they are allowed with very restrictive one. We've been sending also our students to go abroad for internship. So with this, the close of the border and so on, this is actually a big challenge also that we are still thinking how to overcome this. If everyone can share the practice in your university, that would be great.
Dr. Chen?
Okay. I guess that for the internship, all our undergraduate students are required internship before they graduate, and before some of them will go abroad for the internship. But this year, I guess all the program going abroad internship has been stopped, and they have to do the internship inside the country. However, this summer we also work with a university in India that we have some faculty open their laboratory for those students to do a summer internship with the faculty in their laboratory. I think that and it is both faculty and the students are very satisfied with this kind of experience. And so we are going to continue this for the next term. And so this is our experience.
Mr. Syed, would you like to add something else?
Yeah, so I agree with Professor Haniza that internship is also a challenging part for this current situation, because the students and the newly graduate, they actually are facing this difficulty to find the internship. So what actually we are doing, we are also thinking of virtual internships, like we have a good collaboration with local companies. So our career development center inside the university, they are making some like agreements in last few months that those students, they cannot do the physical internship, they can be facilitated with those companies for the virtual internships. As well as we are having one project with one of our Vietnamese university, FPT University, like they have some internship, virtual internship projects. So we are thinking to collaborate with them so that maybe our students, they can do work for this virtual internship. As well as we from the international office, we are also planning to start one virtual internship from next year, from the January. Like we have 42 companies inside the Daffodil family. So we are trying to make some new strategy, like maybe welcoming the international students. Those who are interested for virtual internship, they can work in our Daffodil family companies for different sectors. Yeah, that is all our planning at this stage.
Thank you so much. Dr. Jaffery asked, but Mr. Syed has already answered the question, but I can maybe ask this question to Professor Sarmin and Professor Chen. Do the universities consider discounts in their fees because of the pandemic situation? And if the pandemic situation changes, will you charge the students extra if they want to be present in the campus? So Dr. Chen, we can start with you.
No, I think that we did not put in an extra discount, but since we already have a very good scholarship program, about 70% of the international students receive some form of scholarship from the university. So we did not give additional discount. However, we know that there's additional cost to them coming to Taiwan to Yuan to study. For example, they have to stay in a hotel for the 14-day quarantine. So we do subsidize some of their costs for the hotel. That's how we deal with this to help students. Thank you.
Professor
As
Sarmin?
of UTM, we did not give discount for the tuition fees, but then for the accommodation, because they went back to their hometown, so they got some money back. Also other universities in Malaysia. And even if they come back when the border is open, or even our Malaysian students who come back to campus, the fees will be there. We will not planning to increase the fees. So what we returned last time was the accommodation fees for those who went back to their hometown.
So thank you so much. I think we replied all the questions we received. As the last question, I want to give the microphone to each our guest speaker to give closing remarks, as well as answering how we can maintain the relationships with our partners, local and international partners and stakeholders in these difficult times, and how do we make new international partners. So, Mr. Syed, this time we can start with you.
Okay, so thank you for the question. So if I follow our strategy, like as an individual university, we have to communicate more with the partners, and we have to find those who are very much positive, those who are very much active in this situation for virtual mobilities, those who like to come forward to support with different academic exchanges, like maybe staffs and all, maybe students or staffs, any part of the mobilities, to come forward and do these mobilities, because in this situation we don't know when actually the things will be open again, like the international traveling. So we need to focus on that, and we need to find out how the universities can be benefited from this virtual mobility. As well as one of the point that I must mention, that there is a contradiction that the ranking authorities, like maybe the D ranking or QS, I mean, they do validate these virtual mobilities for the ranking. We need to think if they actually do accept these mobilities for the ranking sector, because everyone has to focus at least for 2020, even for 2021. So these are the areas I think we need to focus, and the universities need to be, multidimensional focus, that so that we can find the scopes. So that is all about from my point of view, and I really thank EURAS and you, Dr. Piner, for inviting us for this today's webinar.
Professor Sarmin?
I think because of this pandemic, and we don't have a choice to do physical activities the same as before, although for UTM we have actually laid out and list all different kind of conferences that we're going abroad from, like January and until December. I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Turkey, Istanbul and Ankara this year. That's it. We plan to go to QS Apple, Maple, URI again, and EAIE, and all different kind. But given this condition, we just have to try and do it as much. So that's why we're doing the virtual international engagement. Now we're planning to get more partners. We try to cover the whole world, use this opportunity that we don't have to travel and use money, flight ticket, hotel, and so on, and get as much as online conferences for the students, courses. Some of them, they didn't get the chance to join. Now it's no weekend, night, and so on. So just use this opportunity to the max. And again, thank you, Pinar and EURAS, for inviting me. And UTM is happy to join you as a EURAS member. Soon, I will send you the form. Thank you.
Dr. Chen, thank you so much, Professor Sarmin.
Okay. Well, I guess that Syed and Nita has very much said, I guess that we all enjoyed. And thank you, EURAS, for this event, hosting this event. And this is just a very good demonstration is how we should always try to be innovative, to stay in touch and to communicate. And We should keep it going. Thank you.
Thank you so much, distinguished speakers, dear EURAS members. Let me give also closing remarks. And before wrapping up, I would like to thank each one of our distinguished speakers from Malaysia, from UTM, Professor Sarmin, Mr. Syed from Daffodil International University in Bangladesh, and Dr. Chen from Yuan University in Taiwan. And I would like to thank each our speakers for joining us and for their contributions in our EURAS regional webinars, which was the first one during this full semester, but we will continue with other regional webinars during this semester. So we are planning to organize regional webinars for America continent, for Central Asia, as well as other regions that we are planning to organize. But the closest event will be held on November 5th for EURAS member universities only. We will be organizing a EURAS E-Academy, which is an online training program for member universities in collaboration with Coursera. So Coursera experts will be joining us on November 5th. All the detailed information will be shared with our members soon, but I would like to give this very new information to our members during this webinar. And the next event will be about the international conference on refugees in November. So we are planning to organize with some speakers from United Nations, as well as some international and local organizations representatives will be joining us. So we will be also sharing this event details. As well as in December, we are planning to host another regional webinar where we host distinguished panelists from the States, Canada, and also one university from Latin America. So we will be hearing their best practices as well as their practices during the COVID-19. And in January, we will be planning to organize one regional webinar for Europe in collaboration with our new partner S Group. And thank you, Professor Sarmin. We would like to have UTM also among EURAS network. We've been working with UTM for a very long time, and we will be happy to collaborate officially under EURAS umbrella as well. So Dr. Chen, we would like to see also Yuan University among EURAS network, but you are always more than welcome to attend in our event. And we would also like to give our support as EURAS to your activities in Taiwan. And thank you so much for your patience for joining us today. And this recording will be shared after editing on EURAS YouTube account, and the certificate of attendance will be shared soon. So you'll be receiving all the details. Also, the presentations will be shared. So I would also ask Professor Chen and Mr. Syed to share your presentations with me by email, so we can disseminate among our participants. And please do follow us on social media at EURAS Edu, and we will be glad to support your activities. Please do let us know whenever you organize an international event. We will be glad to disseminate those events among our members as well as our network, and hope to see you at our next event. See you. Bye-bye.